Never stop chasing your dreams.
And never say never. Welcome to the Rainbow Remix. This week we're doing a best of series rewind of some of our favorite TV personalities that we have had in the mix. First up in the mix is Scott Lowell and the legendary Sharon Gless from the award-winning TV series Queer as Folk.
Yeah. Scott, welcome. First of all, welcome to the Rainbow Remix, and
Thank you.
JD over there, and I'm Denise. And I want to thank you first off for doing this. Like, you were so receptive, and it was so quick. I was like, oh my God,
pleasure.
he said yes. He said yes. So that is so cool. And we both watched the trailer for Adoptable on YouTube, and I got to tell you, man, the trailer alone is so funny, and
thanks.
It's that awkward, painful funny, like that. Right up my alley, man.
That's what I like. Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad you're into that too. Some people like it. It gets too cringy for them, and they can't deal with it. But that's the kind of
your responses to things, I think, are like, that's the relatable part. Like, anybody would have responses,
Yeah.
So, tell us. Go ahead, Jay.
I'm just going to say, when you went through that whole story about the whole experience about being adopted, and then the guy responds, I think she just wanted to know about the wedding plans, and it was
yes.
Scott, did you wear all the hats on this?
Not all of them, but more than I wanted to. I don't like to wear hats often at all, and I ended up wearing a lot more than I wanted to. Yeah, I wrote it. It started off, back in, I think it was 2008, actually. So it's been a very long gestation period, but I searched for my birth parents back in the late 90s. I found them, or they were found just after I moved to LA in 98. So I met them more like in 99. And I would tell the story, and a lot of what's in Adoptable is based on what actually happened. I actually had an intermediary that her name was, I won't say her actual name. Her name is close to Mary Elizabeth, which is the character that Sharon plays. And she was exactly like that. She sounded like she was out of Fargo. She just chatted, like I would call her and she would just get me on and tell me all about her family. And told me really inappropriate things at times that were very inappropriate for me to know. And so there were all these really awkward, uncomfortable kind of things. And so I used to tell the story to friends of mine who I felt comfortable sharing it with. And a friend of mine who worked for an organization in LA called, I think it was Sparks Off Rose. It was like the Moth Story Hour, if you know what that is, where people write their personal stories and they come and tell them. And she was on me for years to write something and come and present this, in front of an audience. And I just didn't feel comfortable sharing it with the world yet. My friends, it was fine. But so I wrote it in 2008, like a 1,500 word version of my story, of my search. And it just went over like gangbusters. And then I got invited to other storytelling hours and then another story. And it just started to gain momentum. And everybody would ask every time, like, this is a book, this is a movie, you got to do something with this. And I sat on it for years. And back in 2012, finally, web series were just starting to become a thing. And I noticed for the first time the New York Times was reviewing them. And I thought, oh, maybe these are actually here. And I started watching some of them, and I decided, this is a format that I can control. Perhaps I can film it or create it with a low enough budget that I could remain in control of it rather than hand it off to somebody else and, have them put Paul Rudd in my part or something. Paul Rudd, but, so that's why I started focusing in on this, and the short form nature of it as well, too. I looked forward and I saw, people were starting to use these phone things more and more. And I thought, oh, yeah, maybe these short form episode things might actually be good for people, that they don't have to sit through a whole half hour or a whole hour or whatever. And and so I just started thinking of creating it in this form. So I finally finished writing it in about 2014 or so, and we shot it 2015 into 2016. I crowdsourced the money, crowdfunded the money for it.
I remember that. I feel like I've been on this journey.
I think you have. Well, Sharon helped a lot. I have to let the cat out of the room now. She's, of course, they come in and then they want to go out.
I know. My wife just went and took mine because he was meowing in the hallway. I'll get him.
But yeah, so we, I had a lot of wonderful support from people. Rosie O'Donnell even gave us some money, which was very nice. She came through with some money in the end for us. So it was just a great experience, and it was fun to be able to write as I was creating it, to get certain actors who either I knew really well that I wanted to write for.
And Gail Harold's in it.
Gail came into it.
I love the character that Noah Wiley's playing. I mean, he's just like, wow, that was genius.
He's great. It was really a lot of fun. And he's somebody, I'll be honest, when I originally started writing it, I had worked a couple of times with Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, yeah.
And so originally I wrote the character for Jerry O'Connell to play.
You see that.
And he loved it. And it was a similar kind of thing where it was a really dark version of Jerry, because Jerry is very charming. Yeah. But I wanted to tweak that image a little bit. And he really loved it. But his scheduling was so tough that we kind of finally had to say, I'm never going to shoot this thing if I keep waiting for him.
Yeah.
And I met Noah a couple of times, but I ran into him at a theater event in Los Angeles and was talking with him and was reminded how funny he is. And I don't think a lot of people know that he's funny. In these very dramatic roles.
Stuff. Yeah, the library is great.
Yeah. So I rewrote it for him, and fortunately he liked what I came up with. Right. And he, I will say, we ended up having to shoot in two bunches. We shot a lot of it in, I think it was October into November of 2015. And then Noah was busy, so I had to wait to shoot all his scenes until January of 2016. So we'd already worked on a bunch. And he came in, and I think his first day of shooting was a scene where we were in the makeup trailer, and he came in and I didn't know what to expect. And just from the first moment, he just embraced that.
You could see it.
I don't know how PG-13 your podcast is, but he just embraced what a jerk this version of him was. And I just loved getting to be bad, because he just doesn't get to be bad in that way. And
it must be a dream to be an asshole on film.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing, to be an asshole, and everyone knows you're not, and it's like, this is acting.
I think so. Yeah, when your brand is one thing, to get to play against that, he just ran with it and added so many things. Like, he was one. I mean, I had a hard time keeping a straight face with a lot of people, but he was especially hard, because things he would come up with that were so funny and so brilliant. But I got very lucky with the cast, and Sharon and Gail.
Too. Oh my God, it's so fun to see her in a funny role. See her in a funny role. It's like, it's so far past what she normally does.
I concur. And she, I tweaked the character quite a bit, because we used to play poker a lot back when we were doing Queer as Folk, and even in the years since. And she would come, and Sharon used to like to have a beverage or two or three at the games, and you would just wait till the evening got further on, and she got a little drunker, and we could always tell. And she used to, I don't know if you remember, she used to have those big glasses that look like an owl. Yeah. And when they would start to tilt a little bit, we knew, okay, now we can go in for the kill and get some of that network TV money off of her. And so I added all the owl stuff because of those glasses of hers. I made the character obsessed with owls just so she could wear those glasses for me. And then she, on her own, bless her, and everyone did this. It was really, it was so touching to me. I had a hard time not getting weepy constantly on set, because I didn't pay, I'll tell people, I didn't pay these people anything. Like, we did this on a SAG modified budget, and payment was deferred because I didn't have enough money to afford Emmy-winning talent on my my little skit.
Web series.
But,
Yeah.
so everybody's working for free, but she went on her own. She bought her own costumes, and she brought in her own hair person. If you look at her hairdo is like those little horns that owls have, like
flock
it
of
curls
seagulls.
up.
It was so flock of seagulls. Yeah.
Yes, she had that. She had her hair person. She said, like, make me look like an owl. She like just went bananas with it because it was such a fun character for her.
She went full owl, man.
Full owl.
She's fun like that. Like when I got to work with her, I was really nervous, like really scared. Like she had done my podcast like 2 or 3 times, and then I came to see do an interview with her in London while she was doing Round Heeled Woman, because I had just moved here. And I knew Debbie Moss, her, the one that was the actual PA. So Debbie like just phoned me up out of the blue and said, "Oh my God, I got to go back to California. We got a family emergency. Can you step in and just help Sharon out?" And I was like, "Oh my God, like do what?" He was like, "I'll tell you when you get here. Just get here." And I was like, "Oh," I was just thrown into it. And I was a nervous wreck. I was so afraid to like let her down. And Deb's like, "You just gotta anticipate everything." And I'm like, I don't anticipate what? I don't even know. But she made it so fun. Like obviously she knew I didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground. And she just kind of went with it. Like, these are the times we're going to smoke. These are the times where I need you to put me away. I need you to call me a car. I need you to make a dinner. Just easy stuff. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. So it was an absolute joy. Like it was so fun. It was like getting to hang out with like your TV idol, like.
Yeah. And she doesn't make you feel like that though. She always
not at all. Like great stories, great advice, and like I said, just super like I at one point Don French and Jennifer Saunders came to the play.
Wow.
And I had watched Vicar and Dibley, I'd watch Ab Fab, but when I saw them, it didn't register who they were, out of character, I guess. And then they came in the dressing room and they were all chatting away and everything. And it hit me like in that moment that it was Don French and Jennifer Saunders. And I just went, oh my God. So as they're all leaving to go to dinner, Sharon turns around and she was like, "Come on, aren't you coming?" And I was like, no, you guys go. Like an idiot, right? And then they left and I called my wife and I was like, I just turned down dinner with Don French, Jennifer Saunders, and Sharon Gless. And my wife goes, "If we weren't married, I'd punch you in the face when you got home."
Were you worried? Were you worried? Go ahead, JD. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say that's something I would do. That's something I would do. Like just
no, you guys know.
Were you worried? Would you be worried you just wouldn't be able to deal with it? That you would say something stupid in front of them?
I wasn't expecting it. And I think it was just like my immediate response, like, oh no, you guys go, you're big stars. No, I called you the car. You go, I'm good. Right. Like it just, I don't even know. I just clammed up like instantly, like what an idiot. I'll never have that opportunity again.
Right?
Yeah. Ever.
Yeah, you do have to grab those, but I get it. I understand. And it's intimidating in some ways because there's an odd blend of, because I had that for lots of times. Back, I was in Chicago for a decade when I started off my career, and it was 87 through 98. It was the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan years and things that. And I was obsessed with the Chicago Bulls, and I watched every single game, or I listened to it on the radio. I spent therapy sessions talking about the Bulls versus the Knicks and what they represent, good versus evil. Like I was obsessed. And shortly before I left Chicago to come to LA, I did a commercial with Michael Jordan. And I found myself, and he's, when you get Michael Jordan for a commercial, there's a guy, I called him Fake Michael. And Fakel looks like, his face doesn't exactly look like Michael, but his body, his head shape, everything about him looks exactly like Michael. So they have Fake Michael do all his blocking, like almost everything. And Michael just kind of comes in, he watches the last rehearsal, and then he just steps in and he does it, because you only have him for like an hour, 2 hours at most, and he's gone. So So, but when he finally stepped into the scene with me, it was this weird feeling that like I knew him. I just started talking to him like I knew him, and I was such an idiot around him. He was very kind, fortunately. Just started making fun of me, which was very nice. But it was this dopey. Like I look back, I'm like, what a dope! What was I doing?
Oh,
Treating
man.
Michael Jordan like
I
he
was
was
like,
some dopey friend of mine.
yeah, like I hadn't been like that for the whole week, with Sharon. But then
Yeah,
Dawn and Jennifer walk in, and I just
it seems too
torn
much.
up. Yeah, it was too
I
Oh my
get it.
God.
exactly. It was too much star power and too small a space. I was like, nope, can't do this. But yeah, I mean, honestly, she's incredible. She's so fun. Yeah, I mean, how lucky though to have spent all that time with everybody. I think I was wondering, Scott, I used to work at a radio station in Miami, and I remember the whole cast of Queer as Folk coming in. I think it was for the season premiere of maybe the last season, and sitting with Marky G and talking. And I met everybody like super quick, but I ended up spending a little bit more time with Michelle and Sharon because they were the smokers. So I got to take them to the smoking area and hang out. And that's the thing about that cast is that like I'm still friends with Michelle today. Just from swapping contact, like when we were hanging out, and Sharon, like that was how I ended up getting her for the podcast. So it just seems like those friendships are so lasting. Like like of course we all JD's watching it again. She's watching the
Oh God.
whole thing of
I
Queer
watch
Folk
it
again.
like it's happening now. Like I binge it. You're my friends inside the TV. That's what I say.
Yeah, exactly.
My friends.
That's where we live, JD. We've gotten skinnier and skinnier over the years as the TVs have gotten skinnier. But yes, we live inside your TV.
That's a good
we
thing.
We hang out there.
It used to be bigger, right? The camera adds 10 pounds.
Yes.
You don't. Now you're on a cell phone.
You
right.
still live on that main street downtown with all the bars and
exactly right. We're still on Liberty Avenue, all hanging out.
Still go to the diner.
That's right.
I just did a project with Taya. I did a cartoon project with her. I did like a voiceover thing, and her character the cartoon of her looked just like her. It was amazing.
Looked like her?
Yeah. And I played like an Eastern European heavyset building manager. So anything like me, but hers was like a queen, but it was really cute.
That's funny.
So it was fun.
Well, that seems fitting because we used to say Taya is somebody like you could not take a bad Polaroid of like any angle of a camera. Like she is a stunningly beautiful woman. However you film her, so it seems appropriate that a cartoon version of her would be gorgeous as well.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
It's so very effortless.
That was pretty fun. It's just the connection is so deep with everybody. It seems
it was a very unique. I mean, I know there's lots of casts, and you see, I just finished watching the SAG Awards, and you see these casts, and but there was something very extra special, unique about our situation that, first of all, so many of us, it was our first series other than Sharon. And I mean, Hal Sparks had done Talk Soup as a series, but he hadn't done, he hadn't done something. Yeah, he hadn't really done something with a cast. So we were all pretty new. Well, the majority of us were all theater people too. We all came from theater backgrounds. And then we got shipped off to Toronto. And so we were away from kind of our homes. We were away from our friends, from our families. And we were in this little bubble up there. And we were asked to do things no other television cast had been asked to do before for an extended period of time. I mean, there's always been, yes, exactly. I mean, there's, doing a nude scene or having, a sex scene or something, in a film, that's one thing, but to do it for 5 years in a row, I mean, 130 something episodes. I can't remember what it is. It's a lot of we got to know each other very well. And
I was just going to say that. Yeah. It's intimate. When that script shows up and you're like, oh man, I got to suck a dick again.
Yeah. Well, yes, absolutely. And for me too, because poor Ted, every week it was like, what new humiliation is he going to face? So it's,
I know, but
it was very much like,
lovable. But he was so lovable.
But
I
that
love
really,
Ted. I can relate to Ted.
yes, I think
I
a
relate
lot
to
of
Ted.
people. I could as well, JD. When I read the first scripts, I was like, all right. Sadly, I understand this guy.
Yeah, it's so true. He was, he was like everybody's favorite little sad sack. Hold on one second, Scott.
Sure.
There's someone popping on here really quick.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see how this goes. Oh! Scotty, look who we made come see you.
Hello, my dame.
Surprise!
Hello, my dame.
Hello, my squire.
How are you?
I was supposed to surprise you, but you surprised me.
Yeah.
Hi, Annie.
How did that work? Did you just were coming on? Someone's gonna be here you didn't know?
No.
I knew it was going to be you, but I thought I was going to be sitting here waiting, and then they'd say, "And now here comes your surprise." And instead, I'm sitting here, and you say, "Hello, my dame."
Well, I'm still surprised.
Hi, Denise.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm good.
It's so good to see you. This is my co-host JD. She's in Florida.
Hi.
Hi, JD.
So
I'm
I
in
just-
Florida too.
She's
Oh.
in Florida.
You know what? I just saw you at the Barry Manilow concert. I was in the audience when they announced you were there.
Oh, wasn't it sweet of him?
That was so nice. That was so cool.
I know. He's a good friend. He's a wonderful artist.
Oh, he's amazing.
But enough about me. How about Scott Lowell?
How about Scott Lowell with his
How about Scott
adoptable
Lowell?
series? We were talking about
Oh my
how
God,
funny
so
your
good.
character is. Your character, the owl hair, the glasses.
About all the
Scotty
extra-
wrote all of that.
and
Oh,
you made
Scotty
it work.
wrote all of that. It's such a good idea.
it is. It's so funny. I was telling him I watched the trailer and I send it to everybody because I like cringy, awkward, funny. So I send that to people. I'm like, you got to watch this. It's hilarious. I love how uncomfortable he is all the time.
I
Especially
know.
talking to you. Oh my God. It's
Yeah.
so good. It's so good. And I really hope it does so well. And Sharon, my God, right now, I just heard that you got nominated for an Audie.
Wow.
And for people that don't know, that's for from Audible. For
Yeah, it's not the
narration.
auto. It's not the car award.
You don't
It's
get a
a-
free car.
Audie.
Yeah, I don't get a free
HD.
card.
Yeah.
Damn. That's right. It's for I forget how it's called. The best reader, the best
Narration.
audio book by the author.
Author, right? Which, even though I read the hard copy, book, I had to go do the Audible because that just brings it all home.
Yep.
Like it was.
So I was so surprised, and I'm really with some heavy hitters. Really heavy hitters.
Yeah, amazing.
But it's really nice. I know it sounds corny, but it's so nice to be nominated. But it is. It's an arena that I've never ventured into before.
right.
And
right.
I mean, the book took me 7 years to write. To record it took me like a month or 2 weeks.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, the book was amazing. It was raw and honest, and for me, I felt like I could hear you, because even some of the stories I remember, you sharing some of the stories, and it was just I was so proud, like
Nice of you.
proud.
Yeah,
Oh,
even
yeah.
I mean,
But,
even in
but we're here to honor Scotty. I
Yeah.
don't
no, I want to talk about the book too, because I think to Denise's point, like the book is written so well in your voice, Sharon, that
Yeah.
it,
Thank
even
you.
as you read it, it's like you hear your voice in our head anyway. So it must have made the recording of it so much easier for you because it's just
It
you
did.
telling these stories. Yeah. And I think that's awesome. I would only recommend you learn the name of what it is you're nominated for before you accept the award
I
when you
think
win
you're
it.
right.
See,
I can't remember
That's
the
my
actual
only
name.
note. It's my only note.
I just need to know if there's going to be a ceremony. Is it going to be just an audio thing?
No, and I can only bring like one person. And I understand that if I win, I don't get the award. The award goes to the publisher. What's that about?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that may have just been a filthy rumor.
That's funny. And I just got to say real quick, you were just on Station 19?
I was. Peter Page, our cohort. Scotty's in my cohort. Directed it and produced it.
Oh, man.
How was that?
That's a great
It was fun.
show.
I had a good time.
That's a Shonda show,
What
man.
did you get to do?
That's what I heard. Apparently no one's ever met her. She doesn't show up but yeah, it's another one of her hits.
I got, because we're so far behind here in the UK. So I ended up having to see
I'm almost there.
What do you mean?
I'm coming to the UK.
When?
I'm for my 80th birthday. Let it be known.
Oh,
I'm
20 years?
Yeah, that's Scotty. I love you so much. I'm going to get on the Queen Mary 2.
Oh,
and I'm going to cross the Atlantic.
What
And
a
on my
great
80th
way to
birthday, I'm
come.
going to be on the ship when I turn 80.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
It was my dream. It's from a
Awesome.
past life. It's some past life that's haunting me that I have to cross the Atlantic on the Queen Mary.
Oh my
Were there any
God.
icebergs in this dream you had before?
Well,
Were there...
I picked a time of year, Scotty. I picked a time of year where it's a little more favorable.
Smart. That would be in the back of my mind. I'm not going to lie. That would be in the back of my mind. I don't even like flying over it, but you got to do it.
I know. Hey.
Wow.
So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm landing in England.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
That's so
It's
exciting.
in the Hampton, doesn't it? To come in one like Hampton.
Yeah, something like that. It's not London. I thought, but yeah.
Yeah.
And Barney, my husband, I don't want him to go with me because he hates to cruise. And so my best friend Dawn is going to escort me.
Oh,
And
how fun.
Barney and Dawn's partner are going to meet us on the other end. And I demand flowers in Barney's arms as I disembark.
I love it.
I love that.
It's all part of my thing, It's all
Yeah,
part of my
this
story.
has got a lot of planning involved. I love this.
Isn't that good?
A lot of
Like,
ceremony.
can I bring you anything from Costco?
That's right. We did that. That was fun, wasn't
That
it?
was fun.
Didn't I introduce you to Costco? Come on.
Yes. No, she actually did. And Sharon, I'm going to tell you right now, if it weren't for you, we would never have jumbo paper towels in my home.
See?
I
She
finally
gives
found
and she
American
gives and
things.
she gives.
Yeah,
She
I found
did.
American things. I get a chicken every week now. I'm like, yeah, I can't even. It's fantastic. But yeah, that was fun.
Well, I
But
love, some people talk about make your dreams come true. Sharon Gless stage manages to make sure her dream literally comes true. Flowers
right.
at the dock.
Orchestrates
I know.
it.
Yeah,
A safe
Yeah.
crossing.
yeah. Oh, definitely.
Exactly.
And
Definitely.
I want Scotty's series to sell and become a long-running series because I think it's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Scott,
So we can make
I
some
need
more.
to ask you this. At the beginning of, I think it's episode 1, there's some stuff in there about it says something about lawsuits and now, is that fake?
That's fake. So yeah, and Sharon doesn't. Oh, and I should tell you this too, Sharon, because Sharon gave me a great note years ago that I wasn't able to implement, but I finally implemented for when we put it on YouTube. Yeah, we finished the show filming it 7 years ago now. I don't know if you're aware, but since 2016, a lot of things have gone on in the world,
A little bit.
and things have changed.
So I understand.
Yeah.
Things have changed quite a bit, and I had some concerns that some of the humor in it, especially while they were cringy funny back in 2016, now after the Me Too movement and a number of other things, they might
Okay.
people if they thought we filmed it yesterday, they'd say, that guy wouldn't get away with it. Like Noah would have been in
Mhm.
jail.
Mhm.
People wouldn't have gotten away with saying some of the things they did. So I wanted to make it clear to people that we made this back in 2016. And because it's a fake documentary, I thought I'd start it off with some title cards explaining in a fake way why we had to delay it. So I said, that we filmed this documentary was filmed for the TBT network, which is what Cops and Bottoms is on, back in 2016, and a couple of the people in the documentary sued to have it to prevent from having it be seen by the public, and all these lawsuits and changing some lawyers. And then
training was the best.
So I just wanted people to know that this is from 2016, so they could watch it with that mindset. But at the end of the first episode, we first meet Sharon's character on the phone, and when I'm trying to fax her something, and she lets me know very unceremoniously that my character was almost aborted, and Sharon had said she watched. She's like, I can't understand what I'm saying. I don't know if it's my accent. I can't understand. So I added in, Sharon. Now there's subtitles now for your phone call, so people will be 100% clear.
Oh, that's great.
What you're saying.
So they don't know what I'm saying. I worked so hard on that accent.
Exactly. It's great. But we have some great bloopers that we'll put up a blooper reel later. Some very funny bloopers of Sharon because again, we had no big budget, so we couldn't afford to have Sharon do some recording afterwards. We had to actually have her on the phone when we were doing that scene. So I would have to dial it, and it's all, shot documentary style with the camera. It has to be live and happening. So I would dial Sharon and put her on speakerphone, and we kept getting her answering machine for some reason. Sharon forgot to turn her phone on.
That's right.
Oh, that's
right.
And then she finally got on, and she stopped herself in the middle of a take because she didn't like her accent. So we have some very funny bloopers of Sharon. Just from
I live for
you're so patient, Scotty. Such a talent. You are, Annie. And what's with the mustache and the beard? You're looking like Barney.
I'm trying. Well, that's what I was going for. I kind of, I've always admired
wanted to look like
Barney Rosenzweig. Yes.
He scares me. He scares me. When he came to town, when he came to town, I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting this. And I was like, oh, Deb, I don't know what to do. I got to call Deb. I don't know how to do this. So I was a nervous wreck when Barney came to town.
He used to refer to as the 800-pound gorilla.
But no, honestly, when we met prior, and we were having a conversation at the Rathbone, I think, and afterward, when we came back into the lobby, Barney was there, and you introduced me, and we had a really good conversation. He's great.
See, he's not scary.
Well, yeah. No, I think it was like
he's very powerful in presence, but I mean, he's also very kind, and he loves women.
Yeah,
he created that Kevin and Lacey.
Yeah. So, oh man, it was good.
One of the greatest storytellers. I still, we were fortunate to go on a trip to Venice, Italy through a friend of ours for about 10 days.
Oh, didn't we have fun?
Oh, and this remains like one of the greatest vacations I've ever taken. But
yeah.
I have so many memories of just being at the dinner table and Barney just regaling us for hours with these stories. He's just, one of the most remarkable storytellers I know.
Scotty recorded a lot of that trip. Remember Scotty?
Yes. There is video somewhere in my vaults of Sharon racing through the plow.
He's so clever. When we were on Queer as Folk, each of us had like a day with Debbie or a day with Scotty, a day with Sharon, and they'd photograph it like a little documentary. And Scotty's was hysterical. Hysterical. I can't describe, but it was all lies, but it was brilliant. It was just brilliant.
They all did a really good job for Showtime of day in the life of Sharon Gless, and here I am waking up, and here I am at the makeup trailer, and here's me preparing for my scenes, and they were all being wonderfully, charming, serious actors, and I just couldn't do it. So I just
oh God, you were so funny.
What I did with Noah, I played myself as this really egotistical idiot who pretended he knew all the crew people's names, but he didn't. He got all their names
But he
wrong.
got the names all wrong. He acted like they were his best friend and he had the names all wrong.
Oh,
I made
my
the
God.
crew. Nobody could look me in the eye. So the makeup crew, and I remember Stephen Lynch, the makeup artist, wore like sunglasses so that he could get away with looking me in the mirror at least and looking me.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
God, that's
yeah, I just
brilliant.
played him as a jerk. That was a lot of fun.
Do
We had a
you-
good time. It was a great combination of people we had. We were very fortunate.
We had a conversation about how fun it must be to play an asshole. Like
Yeah.
just play an asshole when you're branded as someone who's so nice and you're always in these roles that are like, the audience loves you, but to get to play an asshole has got to be a dream.
Well, I
played a
love
few
See,
baddies,
Scotty's
Sharon.
character was not an asshole. Scotty's character, Scotty personally is an asshole. Yes.
That's right.
Scotty's
That's right.
but Scotty's character was the sweetheart.
Right.
Do
That's
you,
what makes it
Sharon,
great.
you played a bunch of bad people. Do you enjoy playing the baddies more than the goodies?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sometimes. I mean, I sometimes play nice people who have a bad attitude.
True.
I
Even
loved
Chris-
you on Nip and Tuck. Nip
Nip
and
tuck.
Tuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved you. I watched I ended up binging the entire Nip and Tuck seasons because of the one you were on, the season you were on, because I
Oh my
loved
God.
that character. And then I just loved that
The
character.
producer said it was the like the worst person he'd ever written. That
What an
that
honor.
character. I know.
That's
I
an
forget his
honor.
name. He's very famous.
Brian Murphy.
But yeah, that was fun. I got
Yeah.
nominated for that.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah,
Ryan Murphy,
yeah.
wasn't it? Jeez. I
Brian
just
Murphy, right?
Yeah.
He told me it was the worst person he's ever written.
You played her deliciously.
Thank you, honey.
Yeah. But
Deliciously.
I watched this clip from Station 19 and you're with Sherry Belafonte and Jenny O'Hara and you're trying
That's
to
right.
get the firemen to take their shirts off and I'm like, this is great.
No,
Fantastic. So yeah,
I didn't write it. I just got to play it.
that's fun though. Yeah. Wow. Like to
Yeah.
add a Shonda, a Shonda thing to your credits that's
right.
fantastic.
That's right. I didn't even realize when I accepted it that it was one of hers.
Yeah.
But Peter is obviously a very close friend of all of ours.
Yeah. Oh, he's
And
so good.
so when he called and asked me if I'd come and do it, I said sure. I was very nervous because it was Peter
Really?
Page.
Did that
Yeah.
make it
Well, because I
harder?
know him, he's my friend.
Yeah.
Did
So
it make it harder once you were there, or was it easier?
well, he's my friend. So
Yeah.
it was he's a wonderful director and I could see in my peripheral. Sometimes I'd watch him in between even while I was shooting, I could see him and I could see him laughing while I was doing it. So it made me happy,
That's good. Yeah, you want to do
But
that.
because it's Peter, obviously I wanted to please him,
Yeah, I saw him.
I didn't want him to think she was good as Debbie, but she sucks as this character.
Yeah, Debbie's so lovable, honestly. And we were just saying, Scott was saying how people would always come up, and thank you guys for, being this groundbreaking show and helping them cope and helping them come out. And I said, every night when you finished A Round-Heeled Woman and you would go and talk to everybody that was waiting, and she would always say to me, if I give you a look, come and get me. Never gave me a look. Never gave me a look, and would talk to every last person until that lobby was empty, signing. And I could see them. They would, they would tell you these stories, and it was so emotional. And it was every night after you being on stage for 90 minutes, no break, never coming off the stage, But I mean,
Denise, I have to tell you, I come from gratitude.
oh,
I come from gratitude every time I get to work. And so if the fans show up at the stage door, of course I give them
Oh,
time, you know. I'm still wound
That's
up anyway when
awesome.
I'm working.
I know, but I mean, hugging and listening to some stories were so heartbreaking, you know, and
I
the
know.
Mhm.
other ones are just like other ones are so sweet, you know, and it's just,
Yeah.
it was every night was so emotional. It was like first I
Well, it was
cried
before
watching the
COVID,
play,
so we were
and
more.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it was really I would cry at a couple of scenes in the play, and then afterwards I would cry watching these people with you.
Oh, honey.
I would go
Why
home busted
Denise
Aw.
cry?
every night.
Poor
But
Denise.
Aw.
Were
it was
wonderful. It was so
amazing.
nice having you there helping me.
Oh God, please. I was telling Scott I was a nervous wreck. I didn't know what I was doing, but you made it so that it didn't matter. And that was incredible. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, honey. Thank you.
Just very I was telling them that Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders came. And I had just learned, you know, I had just moved to England, but I knew who they were. It didn't register while you guys were all standing there talking. It didn't register.
That was before we moved into the West End. That was at
Right. That was at Riverside.
Riverside.
Yes.
And the doctor was taking up my contacts because I had to wear contacts and I
Yeah.
don't know how to put them in myself. And the doctor was taking them out and I didn't recognize. They were standing at the door and I thought, well, that's nice. Okay. They took out before he took out the contacts. That's right.
Right.
And-
And this, yeah, it was like this whoop. And
Oh my God,
it
to
hit me
see them. I was so
forward.
nervous.
Oh, are you
And then we
kidding
went
me?
out to dinner and I didn't know what to say. I mean, you know,
I just, I
and
couldn't believe
Scotty
it.
knows because he's the same. I'll do anything in character. So will Scotty. But in person, I'm shy sometimes, you know, and
But here I'm
that
thinking,
was a lot of power.
yeah, that's what I said. Because when you guys were getting in the car and you turned around and said, "Aren't you coming?" And I said, "No, you guys go. Go ahead. Have fun, bye."
That's right.
And I called my wife and I said, Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders were just here. And I said no to dinner. And she was like, if we weren't married, I'd punch you in the face right now. Like, I would have come in my pajamas. Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, it was too much. I was so overwhelmed. I couldn't. It was just instinctive to say, no, you go. I couldn't.
Aw.
But this was so fantastic. I'm going to let you guys both go, but
Yeah.
I am so
Nice to
thrilled that
meet
we
you,
were able to do
JD.
Yes,
Same.
JD.
And nice to
Thank
see
you
you
so
again,
much,
Denise.
guys, for
It's so
being on
good
the
to see you,
show.
Karen.
Thank you.
It's,
And I love you, my
Yeah.
squire.
I love you too, my dame. Thank you so much. This was a great surprise. I was going to call you right after to say, guess who I just talked to? And now I don't have to do that. I've been thinking about you a lot lately, so it's really lovely to see your face.
Thank
Aw.
you, honey. I love you. And thank you,
I love you
Denise.
too.
What a treat to see you again.
Next up in the mix is Laura Leigh and her best friend Lisa from TLC's hit reality show sMothered.
Ah,
Hey, there we go. We made it. Oh, so good to see you. Oh man, really good to see you again.
oh, it's good seeing you guys as well.
Yeah, you
Thank
look fantastic. Look at
Oh,
you,
thank
the
you.
working
Thank
out, all that. Wow.
Pumping all the iron.
I'm an old iron.
Very inspiring. I've been watching you guys working out and your weight loss, Laura Leigh, is amazing. You guys look great.
I appreciate it. I'm on that, what do they call it? The divorce diet.
You know, they do have the breakup 40, they call it. We all go through the breakup 40.
Oh, no. I'm going through a breakup right now.
Oh,
You
God.
don't have 40. You don't have 40.
You don't have 40 to spare.
People are going to be worried. I'm going to have to anchor it. I hope the wind doesn't blow.
Right? Wow. So, all right. So I'm glad you said it because I was just telling JD, I'm like, I'm here, I live in England, and we do get a lot of American programming. We get a little bit of TLC, but we don't get sMothered. So I have to follow everything on social media. And I was saying that it wasn't because of any statement or anything that was put out. It's just from scrolling comments that I learned, that you guys are no longer together, you and Lauren.
Right.
Okay.
That's her.
So yeah, so we, I text JD and I was like, is this true? Is it, because you never know what to believe. So the last time we spoke, everything was sunshine and
We were
rainbow.
good.
Like, everything was sunshine and rainbow. So without going, into intimate details or anything, was it a lot of little somethings or was it one big kerplunk?
Well, I think it was definitely like a lot of little things that led up to the big, finale. I think you got to see a little bit of kind of like what I got to deal with as far as like on the show.
Yeah.
And it's just like I like to say that's kind of the PG version of what I got to deal with in real life. And I'm not saying that I'm not even at fault as well, because I'm not perfect, but I think just towards the end, we both became, we just kind of fell out of it. And unfortunately, it is what it is. We're, working on, the co-parenting thing, which is fun. We still haven't officially, like the divorce papers have been drawn up. But we still have a court hearing to go to. And then, but yeah, we are currently I guess legally separated.
Yeah. And the co-parenting, I think is so commendable. It's hard to do. I don't know, but your baby looks so happy. Whether I
Appreciate that.
Yeah, whether I see her with you or with Lauren, and it's a true testament to, good co-parenting, what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's a learning thing, because there's still a little, things that we're working through. And but I think ultimately down the road that we'll be great co-parents. That's what we both, wish for.
It's all you can hope for, I mean, I just said to JD, when there's a child involved, there has to be a level of respect, whether
Right.
you force it, whether it comes organically. Right. But yeah, for the benefit of the baby, yeah, of course, you have to mind your P's and Q's and be respectful. And on top of that, you have cameras in your face following this journey, that there, by the way, is no handbook to tell anybody how to do this,
Right.
But from, what I see, all your maybe negative energy is being turned into positives with your, mental health and your physical health, and I could see the baby brings out the best in you as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's, dare I say, inspiring, you know what I mean? That you're allowing these cameras to capture all of this. And that's, I think it's so brave, and you
I appreciate it. Thank you.
What I was saying to Denise earlier was that you guys did it very gracefully and with a lot of class, because people on social media were going like dirty. They were getting down and dirty.
Oh yeah.
Not play into that. And that was very, very just like really taking the high road, because it's so easy to jump on board I would imagine when you've got fans from a show saying something about your other person, about the other person. But a lot of people on social media were blaming her mom. I don't know how much you could talk about this, but was because the show was that was the premise of the show. So I'm thinking, well, that, obviously that was the premise of the show. So that was kind of your state of being on the show. But did that become just too much, like in real life?
I think
the reason.
I think a lot of things, as far as a healthy marriage goes, there was too many opinions involved. Whereas, so if maybe we wanted to make a decision in our lives, I felt like, it had to go through.
Hierarchy.
Yeah, and it was just
Yeah, right.
it got to a point. Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of chefs in the kitchen.
yeah, there
Right.
was
Trying to prep the same type of vegetable.
so yeah, just it got to a point where I didn't really feel like it was, I had a healthy, just me and her marriage. I always had to deal with an outsider's point of view or opinion, and it'll grow on you after a while.
Yeah, that
Oh,
would take
yeah,
its toll
absolutely.
big time.
What is your relationship with her dad now? Because you guys were such buddies.
So I am currently still working
Oh,
for him.
Great.
okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the future holds for that. As far as me staying there, to be honest, I think it would just be best that I separate myself from the entire family, other than Reagan and Lauren.
Yeah.
I just think that would be best for my own, like, I guess, mental
You
health.
know what? You got to look out for you, and only you know what's best for you. And if that situation is causing any strife or it feels like a burden, you got skills, man. You got skills. You find something else. You'll do something else. But that part's a shame because I think so many people enjoyed those funny, like on the way to work videos and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, actually, Mr. Kenny me work. He actually came and helped work a job the other day, and because we're a little short staffed at the moment, so he got out in the field and he immediately was like telling the lady at the office that we were pulling cable for. He was like, "Oh yeah, by the way," he almost like told the whole story, like, "So we're on TV, and by the way, that she was my favorite daughter-in-law. Don't you ever say that? Don't you ever admit that I said that."
Oh wow.
So, but I get where as a father he's forced maybe, or has to take his daughter and his wife's side because
Yeah.
he probably don't want to sleep on the couch or outside.
Yeah.
Guy knows what's best for him.
Smart
But
man.
do you?
Yeah.
How do you? I don't want to. Do you have regrets doing the show?
Oh, absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely not.
that's good.
Um,
That was
I mean,
a factor in your relationship. Sometimes people say when the cameras come into their lives, their relationship, it really affects their relationship. People who have been on these reality shows. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Not the Kardashians. They never say that.
And they have no drama.
4 marriages later, there's 20 years of cameras in the face. But yeah, no. So no regrets, and you don't feel like being on the show was part of the root cause.
Oh no, absolutely not. I think there were a lot of issues. Honestly, I think the show kind of pushed a lot of our issues under the rug for a while because it kind of put us in a setting to where we kind of had to be there and get along, and it was it was fun. It was fun as well filming, and so like I said, I think it was like a big mask. It helped to push everything under the rug, and then it was just like I'd have to step back and be like, okay, this still isn't healthy. Like,
There's a lot of shit under my rug.
Dirty rug.
So Lisa, you were there for a lot of this, and
I've been
I'm sure
around
you
since
have
the
your
beginning.
opinions, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I've been around since the beginning of Laura Leigh and Lauren.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but you obviously are on this side of the fence, right. But
20 years strong.
okay, so I mean, were did you feel like you could voice your opinion on what was going on, or did you want to just hold it in and wait for Laura Leigh to go, this is a shit show, and you go, yeah?
I think so when everything kind of like started. Okay, so I'm going to tell you from the beginning, like
Okay.
when everything kind of started, like between Laura Leigh and Lauren, I was kind of like Laura Leigh, because if there's one thing I know, I know Laura Leigh. I've known her. I had known her 15 years at the time, and
So before you know her without Lauren.
Right.
And then I knew her with Lauren. And I will tell you, there was a fork in the road at one point in time where our lives they kind of went separate directions for a little while. I chose to keep going left, and Laura Leigh, I know she wanted to settle down and she wanted a family, right? And Lauren kind of presented like all those aspects. She showed all those signs that like she was capable of being this person. Yeah. And okay, I'm gonna I don't want to get too far into it. So anyway, she showed all those signs. And Laura Leigh went with it. But I've known lack of communication, right? It's huge in a relationship. Lack of communication, it lacked their whole relationship. And then kind of towards the end of it all, like I would come around every now and then. Again, like I had a separate life. Laura Leigh is still very important to me though, top 3. So I would still come around, but even more so, like when I did, I was just kind of like, we're still doing that, like,
Before the wedding, you were like, are you sure?
Okay, I didn't know if I could say that. I didn't know. It wasn't even before the wedding. Like it was whenever they first started dating. I went outside on like the back patio, and I was like, Laura Leigh, like, what is it about? Like, what is it about this person? Can I tell them what you said?
Was it?
I'm gonna say
you could tell. Was it? No,
it was her credit score.
In my opinion, to defend myself a little bit, because I know it sounds horrible. In my opinion, it because of some of my past relationships, I was like, okay, so it was like a broader thing to me of where, okay, she's responsible. She's got it together. It was more of a sign of like
maturity.
Yeah, like
stability, maturity, all the things that initially you need to start a family and have a long-term relationship, and all this.
So she had a good credit score, and that was her reason for.
Little did I know. I guess her parents had started it for her.
It was her parents. So all these things come to light, but you just kept hurdling, right? You just kind of, right by the red flags, just hurtling towards marriage, children.
I was in a place in my life at a time where I felt like, all right, I'm getting older. I was done with my party phase in life, and it was just like I knew the red flags that I didn't want. I knew the quality that I would settle down with, and it was just like I wanted, someone I thought that had their finances in order, someone I thought was actually ready for that adult marriage life. And that's what I thought I was presented with, was an independent woman.
All the women who independent.
I think maybe the clue, and this is just me, was in the title of the show. That perhaps
I
rolled with it though, because Lauren was completely different from anybody that I'd ever seen Laura Leigh date, right?
And you could just say it. We had a lot of bad choices back in our day. Me and this one used to strip club.
Hey, I totally can relate to that. And when
we love those strippers,
Yeah.
Well, in New Orleans, right?
We did everything, right? Payday,
give me that money.
Right?
And we grew up.
Yeah.
But I feel like Laura Leigh, like a lot of what you said about being at a certain age and being done with the party scene, and looking back, like we all had good times like that. Like I can't even Oh, when I think about the money I dropped in scores, in Fort Lauderdale, Jesus Christ. But
I never had those times, Denise.
I know scores.
I did that.
but the
We want a
thing
refund.
is, you better than anyone, right? And like, this is what I want for my future. That was fun, back then.
Right.
And Lisa, especially you being a part of that fun, and then seeing your friend in this new phase, of life, and wanting a family and to settle down and have a kid and all that. You were 100% supportive of that lifestyle that she wanted. It was just maybe the person didn't quite match up with what you guys had in mind.
Well, that
Sit a little bit closer. Okay.
I've always been told like marriage, it's work, right? You have
Yeah.
to work at it. Monday through Sunday, like no days off.
Yes.
And
True. That's true.
And so like that's in my mind, Laura Leigh, that's what she was doing. Like she was working for this marriage, trying to build this life, and she was fighting for her family,
Yeah.
While fighting with.
That was obvious. That was
Right,
so
but
obvious on the show, And by the way, I was the one with the good credit score back then. I was not the one in the bars.
I never was.
Obviously. But that doesn't make the greatest partner either. I see what you're saying, because there's got to be as the BFF, were you feeling a bit muzzled, like you couldn't say everything because Laura Leigh was trying to make this work so much, and then along comes the show, and now you've got millions of people watching the show, and that pressure?
I kept my distance, because I have always been the one to kind of speak up, right? When it came to other people in the past, like to the point, like I've argued with a few of them.
I'm pretty sure Lisa broke up with one of my exes for me because she was like, "No, you're not going to work." Like,
and so with Lauren, everything about Lauren was so different, right? And so, with that being said, in my mind, I was like maybe this could work. A few years, I was supposed to be in their wedding. I got kicked out. Yeah. And some years go by, and I start coming back around. I had to go and kind of get my life together. And I start coming back around, and then you kind of see someone that you love and you care about, and like they're this like they've always been this happy-go-lucky person, with this like bright shining light in their eyes, and then you kind of see that it's like starting to dim.
Oh yeah, so you were picking up on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hindsight 2020. I'll be honest, I'm a lot happier. Like I don't see Reagan every day, but I know that, if Lauren finds her happiness and then me as well, then she'll be able to see, be raised by two people actually in love with each other.
Yeah. Exactly. Like that's setting an example, as a parent, and I think it's a testament to knowing what you did was best for your daughter,
Right.
Staying in something that's unhealthy and unhappy it's Reagan that would suffer,
Right.
Like you said, you could,
That was my biggest argument.
yeah, you could smile every day and grit your teeth and get through it, but at some point, I think kids pick up on that.
Yeah, she would
When
obviously notice.
I told her that was my thing. I was like, listen, like, because Laura Leigh, she didn't want to become a statistic. And I was like,
I get that. Yeah.
Baby girl, we are statistics.
Yeah. We're already on that board. Yeah.
We are.
She looked at me, she's like, "Are you gay?"
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, "You're a statistic."
We're statistics.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't
I was
matter. Married, divorced, it doesn't matter. You're a statistic no matter what. You're so right about that.
Your daughter
They're
deserves to.
staying together for the kids, and it's not better for the kids when they're seeing you fight every day or
Yeah.
fight all the time in front of them and living in that stress, the stressful chaos of that. So
Yeah.
that's absolutely, the thing to do for the child. People think they're doing the better thing to stay together, and that's really not the way. I was
Yeah.
wondering from a legal standpoint, so now when you guys split, you are did you have to adopt Reagan legally to be her other parent legally now when you separate for custody reasons?
That's actually still a question that I'm not 100% sure of. I know it varies state by state. I have been told by one family lawyer, ironically, it was Miss Lisa's best friend. So I'm kind of nervous about that. But she told us when we asked over a year ago that me being in the state of Louisiana, me being on the birth certificate should be enough. And
And
of course,
you were
like I
legally
said,
married, right? You were legally married, and
right.
right.
So,
Two pluses.
Right.
but I'm still kind of in question because I've actually also had friends of mine in the same situation where one, partner carried and had the child, but then and they live in Louisiana, and the other person still adopted. So I'm just like, now I don't know. Now I'm starting to.
Yeah. Is that just an added layer of protection, or is it necessary?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm like, I'll be honest. Don't know that answer at this moment, and I'm really hoping that being on the birth certificate is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've noticed on social media that people are definitely team Laura Lee. They've been writing some pretty nasty stuff to Lauren on Instagram, mostly is what I look at. Like they're almost like blaming her because of the show, probably because of what they see on the show. And
Yeah.
is it amicable between the two of you at this point? Like when you go to get the baby, is it cool? Is it stressful between the two of you?
You'd have to ask me on the day.
Are you asking about today or yesterday?
We never, with Reagan in sight, I attempt to keep it short and sweet. Attempt to if I'm FaceTiming Reagan, we try and keep it just about Reagan. If it gets to a point where we don't see eye to eye, I will generally I'll redirect to let's keep it to our lawyers and let's let that handle that. There's been some animosity or a decent amount, but
I feel like that's normal. I mean, that's, of course, there's going to be some discourse, about this.
And each of them they're gonna deal with things differently.
Of course, yeah.
It affects.
But, now the great thing is that the decisions you make are affecting you and your daughter, and that's it. You don't have to consider another family,
And Lisa has been my rock since the beginning of everything. It was immediate. Like we started pulling out my old weights. It started pulling out weights in my garage. And she's like, "Oh, we're working out today." And it'd be like, 10 minutes into like she'd set up 3 stations and we rotate 10 minutes in. I'm like, I am dying. She's like, you're going to do it.
If you would have heard like the tone of voice, y'all would have been like, they are not friends.
Lisa, is that your background? I mean, do you have a background in physical fitness, or it's just something that helps you?
We have both been very active our whole lives. Like that's how we met. We played travel ball, opposite teams.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Only makes sense to be opposite teams.
But like I ended up moving to Jackson, and me and Laura Lee, we worked the same job, and that's what we did together.
Oh.
We worked, we went out, we worked out. The 3 W's. In parentheses.
So do you feel like, Laura Lee, you feel like you're getting back to that now?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I had lost myself, and it was just like she does
without me. Yeah.
So funny. Like I found myself again through Lisa bringing it back out of me. And even like now, so I've gone to like work out without her, and I've actually have some fans that are like, Lisa's not in this workout picture. Where is she? Like, and so I actually would message after like 2 days of working out without Lisa, and they're like, we're getting really concerned. So I actually got Lisa was cooking one night after work. Man,
That's so cute.
Lisa was cooking one night after work, and I was like, we're going to send this fan a video, let her know you're still good and you're still here and we're good.
We're making it over here.
If you go back on the show, Lisa's going to have to be on it as well, like to be your BFF counterpart to you and morally.
Busting in with diaper bags.
That's funny. But you know, the best part is that people, like you said, Lisa's bringing that back to your life and bringing you that joy and happiness that just was probably felt so far out of reach for so long. And the best part about all of this is that your kid is going to see you at the happiest you've ever been, you know, and that's the silver lining in all of it, you know. You really can't put a price on that, you know. It's just it'll be amazing for that, you know, that little girl to see you, you know, happy and thriving and healthy and you know, thankfully making these great memories, you know, together that she can look back on and not have to say, oh my God, I'm a child of trauma, you know, sitting in a therapist's office. You know, my parents were awful.
Trying to stay in that unhappy relationship probably was getting you in a place where bad habits, like you drink more, you stress,
stressing,
eating
unhealthy, a lot of processed food,
not sleeping well.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Not sleeping well. Yeah, it's
on
top of having a little one, not sleeping well. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm actually really glad that you're doing well with it, and that you have the presence of mind to keep your fans like updated with your journey, for lack of a better word. You know, it sounds so lesbianish, doesn't it? I'm so happy about your journey. I love
enjoy the journey.
I'm holding space for this.
Fall in love with the journey.
Had Lisa right there, like you went into it right away, which was great. I saw that happening. Like right away, you were working out, losing weight, looking better, healthier. You know, like that is so. That was just really good because it didn't look like you were wallowing. Like it went like you
didn't have like the hoodie up in the dark light filming yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
With some Sarah McLachlan music of the Arms of the Angel, looking out the rainy window.
Yeah,
that's a lesbian thing to do. Yes,
right.
Adopted 5 more puppies.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we were, you know, super thrilled that you agreed to talk to us, you know, about this. It is deeply personal, but so relatable. Okay, ladies, have a fantastic evening.
Good seeing y'all.
Take care.
And that's a wrap of another Rainbow Remix Rewind.
Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. My addiction. And I confess, my addiction is you. Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction